How many of you have ever, or maybe even recently, mailed a letter or anything? When was the last time anybody mailed anything? Literally mailed something. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while for me, because why would I possibly ever do that? But there is something that is really tactilely satisfying about the whole process. You have to handwrite the words. You have to fold it. You have to insert the page into the envelope, and the envelope needs to be addressed and stamped, and then you have to put it in the mailbox. You go through this whole process and you think about it. You have to deliberately write the address. There's intention for what you're doing. And then you put it in that mail slot and it's gone. You trust that the USPS will get it to where it needs to go. This week, we've come back from spring break and we're reading Parashat Tzav. It's one of sort of a series of Parashiot in the book of Leviticus that deal to a very large extent with the ways in which Aaron and his sons conduct the sacrifices. Now, especially from the perspective of 2026, I actually find these Parshiot challenging. I don't really understand why we need to know, for example, about what happens during the burnt offering to the protuberance of the liver of a bull. Chapter 7, verse 4, that's a real thing. I'm not making it up. But we all know that there's no longer a temple that exists in Jerusalem. Pretty famously, the temples, both the first and the second temple, were destroyed, leaving us only with only the western wall, the holiest site in our religion. And then with this destruction of the temple, with our exile from Jerusalem, we changed from a people whose rituals were sort of rooted in this idea of sacrifices and the daily, weekly, and annual, monthly, and annual routines of these sacrifices, to ones whose meaningful connection comes through words. I want to offer that perhaps there's a happy medium. We don't need to go back to sacrificing anything. I want to be very clear that I do not support sacrificing animals. So I just want to make sure everyone's on board with that, except for to eat. That's okay. I'm with that. But in our service, obviously, there's a lot of words. We are a people who, if nothing else, like to talk and like to write and like to read. But our service is also physical. I don't know how many times tonight you've already stood up and sat down. You have bowed. You have turned around. You've sat down again. You've been up and down quite a few times. And, I try to keep the service moving at a pretty good clip, but it also helps to break up this process of connecting with God. And I think that it's important for us to remember, rabbis consider our tefillah, our liturgy, as the heir to this process of sacrifices. We can no longer sacrifice. There's no longer a temple. So what do? The next thing is we offer our prayers in the same way. And I want us to sort of think that there is this space just beyond what we can touch or what we can hear, this space just beyond our perception, that the way in which we connect with God, the words and the rituals and the movement, all of those bring us just this ever slightly closer to that space where God exists. And while we're never going to quite get there, at least not till the very end of our lives, perhaps, I think that the closer we come to that sacred space, the more we fully give ourselves to the words and to the rituals and to the movements, the closer we come to fulfilling what our forefathers and our foremothers did. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are going to move directly now into the Amidah, which we will do silently.